Radio, a ministry of Moody Bible Institute.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Hallelujah. Come on, sing the praise of the Lord. Hallelujah. Glory to Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord for his goodness. It's just a love song. Listen. I love you forever. I love you forever. I love you forever. Jesus, you are the lover of my soul. Ah, yes. You are the lover of my soul. Everybody sing, Lord. I love the songs you sing to me. I love you, Jesus. Jesus, you are. That's who he is to me. Tell the Lord you are. I bless your high name, Lord. The Bible declares that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run in and we are saved. Say, I bless your name, Lord. Jesus, you are, yes. That's who he is. You are the lover of my soul, yes. Let's sing it again. I bless your name. It's a mighty name, oh yes it is. Every knee is gonna bow to the name, oh yes. Jesus, Savior, keeper of my soul, keeper of my soul. Come on, let's worship him. Oh yeah. Come and keep Jesus. I call him Emmanuel. Oh, yes. Nobody like the Lord. Nobody like the Lord. Oh, yes. Hallelujah. Come on, put your banners to the Lord. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on and join the Lord in this place. There's no shadow of turning with him. I can tell you what I know. He's the lover of my soul. He's the lover of my soul. He is the lover. Hallelujah. Nobody like Jesus. Nobody like Jesus. Nobody like Jesus. Nobody like him. Hallelujah. Being in love with Jesus is more than just transferring words from your mouth to the air. But being in love with Jesus is a transferal of your spirit to his spirit. If you've ever been in love before, you know what it's like the first time you saw your Coca-Cola bottle and the first time you saw your He-Man. No matter where you were, you could be in a mall of thousands. You heard a song and you stopped everything and you said, wait a minute, that's our song. The same way you recognize the song of your husband or your wife, the Lord wants to have a song that he recognizes us with. Now, one thing I've learned about being in love with Jesus is you can sing a song that don't mean nothing to nobody but Jesus. Can I get a witness? Hallelujah. You can sing a song that may sound silly to your neighbor, but somewhere inside of that song, it's touching the very heart of God. I was in Cincinnati in 1997 at the Gospel Music Workshop of America in my hotel room. And I went down to pray to the Lord, and the Lord began to sing this song out of my spirit. I ran home and I taught it to the choir at church, ran to the Bahamas and taught it to the saints in the Bahamas, and we watched the supernatural power of God take healing and bring deliverance to the body of Christ. How many of you know God is still healing and still moving by his spirit? Hallelujah. Listen, let's just sing this simple love song to the Lord. It may not make sense to anybody, but I guarantee you it'll touch the very heart of God. And in this hour, if we're going to touch anything, we need to touch Jesus. Amen? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory to Jesus. It's so simple. Let's just sing this as we worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. Hallelujah. Lord, we love you. Yes, we do. Just sing this to the Lord. I really love to love you, Lord. I really love to love you, Lord. I really love to love you, Jesus. I really love to love you, Jesus. Now sing this. I really love to love you. That's it. I really love to love you.
Sheriff's Office 3017.
Oh, yes. I
Got
really love to love you. Sometimes it gets so good.
1025, 2314, 2314 Glen Boulevard, Cross Street, Stansburg Road, Junior Drive. Callers advising that her 12-year-old brother punched their 9-year-old brother in the face. No weapons. Still on services, brother.
So good to me, can't tell it all. I want all the brothers to sing this praise with me. I believe when brothers begin to learn how to love Jesus, that you can be better husbands and you can be better fathers.
WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Police Report Show. The Police Report Show was created to keep the public informed and to build and maintain a positive relationship with the community. WBIS LP 106.9 FM, Winterville, Ayton, Grifton, Southside Greenville, North Carolina. Outside the listening area, tune in on WBISAwesomeRadio.org.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are tuned into the Police Report First Responder Show. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, and the Awesome Radio Network. We are joined today with Sergeant Darnell, the Public Information Officer for the Pitt County Sheriff's Office, and Mohammad Innab, who's going to give us some cybersecurity on Truist Bank breach that occurred recently. So we have information for that. It's not to cause public alarm, but for the information to our listening audience. I would like to begin with Sergeant Darnell because Pitt County Sheriff's Office and Crime Stoppers ultimately needs everyone's help and the help to solve a cold case involving a murder that involved a gentleman by the name of Justin Rudd. But just like that, there was a arrest made that I just found out was made aware of this morning, and that was to help with people that occurred in Greenville. So that man was arrested. He has been charged with murder. So I would like to begin with Sergeant Lee Darnell, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, my friend. It's always awesome to be here on Awesome Radio with my friends and hopefully a good listening audience. If anyone has anything, please give us a call and give us your thoughts or your questions. Always good to hear from you.
And with that being said, there is a video featuring Sergeant D. Darnell with audio explaining the situation. I believe it's on the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. And I attempted to get the audio for it, but was unable to. So if you would avail yourself to the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, you can see that video with Sergeant Darnell explaining that cold case murder involving Mr. Justin Rudd. Sarge, also, I know there's some information releases from the Sheriff's Office involving at least 8 different incidents, and I have one of them in front of me. I didn't print all 8 of them out, so I figured I'd utilize my laptop, but I'm sure you can fill us in on some of those cases.
Absolutely. There's always good arrests going on around us. Our deputies and detectives are hard at work getting guns, illegal guns, off the streets and out of the hands of violent people, working to get the drugs off the street, curtail some of the violence going on around us. We post quite a bit on our social media pages to try to keep the public informed with what's going on. That's important to us. You know, transparency is vital. And the Rudd case that you mentioned out of Farmville, that's real important to us. That's a Farmville Police Department case, but it still matters to the sheriff's office and certainly matters to Crime Stoppers. And that it doesn't matter if a case occurred this morning or if it occurred 50 years ago. We're going to keep trying to get justice for these people.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes we're able to do that even after decades with changing technologies and what have you. We're always hard at work at it.
Yeah, and when you mentioned the drug and gun crime cases, I'm looking at one drug and gun crime arrest that occurred on, I think the arrest was, it says immediate release, June 12, 2024. It was an incident that occurred on June 7th. And I'm not going to read all of it because I can't look over to the screen that much. So I'm sorry if you have it in front of you, if you want to mention anything further about that.
That narrows it down to 3 different releases that went out that day about crimes on June 7th. So it depends on which one you're referring to.
It looks like it involves Pitt County, North Carolina, June 7th. I got to lean over to see what it is.
I know one that pops up here. We, our gang and gun unit made some arrests. That's a very active unit. It's very progressive and proactive and really making a big difference out there. In this case, they attempted a traffic stop. It was at Speedway over on 264 at Bostic Drive over there at North Campus area.
Yeah.
With that one, the driver could not produce a driver's license and provided a name to them that they ran through the system. Later, it was discovered that the driver's real name was a little different than what he gave us. He was arrested. He turned out to be wanted in Virginia on several felonies and a slew of misdemeanors. So he's actually being held to for extradition to Virginia. But our charges, we charged him with possession of a firearm by a felon, carrying a concealed gun, and possession with the intent to sell, deliver marijuana. I don't know if Virginia's come to get him yet, but he's going to be busy in court there and here for quite some time.
I can imagine. And if I'm not mistaken, you could correct me if we're talking about the same one I'm looking at. I believe the gentleman on his picture profile, it says he went by the name of William and Marquise. Is that the same case?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think it's the one in front of me. All right, so thank you for that information. So that is quite an active thing, and hands up, or thumbs up to the sheriff's office, and ultimately to the law enforcement in the state of Virginia. Anything else further, Sarge? Oh, let's go to that current arrest that I just was made aware of this morning, and that was the second arrest made in connection with the 2022 Greenville murder. Morissette.
I'm not familiar with that. That's a Greenville Police Department case.
Oh, okay.
But
I see what
they're doing some amazing work over there as well. I can't speak for them, but as a citizen of the city of Greenville, I can say I'm proud of them the work that they're doing. They have a lot of very difficult cases, and they make the most of the situations and getting some really great arrests.
Yeah, I see it as a Greenville case. Um, it just says Pitt County Sheriff's Office in parentheses, and that's courtesy of WITN, the web team. So I want to make sure I give them courtesy for that, because sometimes they're like really leery about information being distributed without them knowing about it. So we're not going to read it all, but I would like to say courtesy to WITN. We have 11 minutes to go before we go to the first break. I'm going to give Mohammad Innab a chance to come in to give us some information on that cybersecurity incident involving Truist Bank.
Well, the Truist Bank's been hacked. You see, it's been confirmed that Truist Bank, Truist Bank has been this week. The system's been data breached at Truist Bank, but it started at October 2023, and the cyber attack was posted at some of the company's data for sale on a hacking form. It happened at the headquarters of Charlotte in North Carolina. While the bleeping computer could not independently verify these claims, the data also allegedly contains bank transaction with names, account numbers, balance, and source codes for Truist Bank's interactive voice response, automated phone system for transferring funds. In partnership with outside of security consults, they conducted a thorough investigation, took additional measures to secure their system, and notified a small number of clients last fall. They regularly worked with the law enforcement and outside cybersecurity experts to help protect their system and data from the hackers from at Truist Bank.
And that was the two things that caught my attention, was that when they mentioned the bleeping computer, um, it involved bank transfers, account numbers, names, and so on and so forth. But it goes on to further say that they work very closely with law enforcement to get this resolved. So that's a good thing. And so I wanted to bring that to the public's attention as well. Like I said, not to cause public alarm or anything. They are working on the matter, and law enforcement is actively involved.
But they still don't know it's like who is it from. They don't know who it was that was stolen.
How it was,
No, they don't know who caused it all.
or who caused it, yeah. I'm pretty sure when law enforcement is up, they're going to get it, do it.
Eventually, they will.
Sarge, do you have anything to add to that, sir?
Gosh, I don't know. It's a shame to keep seeing big crimes like this that can impact so many of us. It's difficult to work with, I'm sure, but I hope they can sort out the details and people aren't harmed in the process.
Absolutely. We have 9 minutes before we go to the first break, so I'm going to go back to Mohammad to see if you have anything further before we go to the break.
Well, our strengths and our weakness is pretty much technology, because we rely on technologies far too often, and that's how hackers were able to gain information from Truist Bank or anything to steal our personal information. These things can be, we can't always rely on technology, because the more we use it, it's like oh, go ahead. What's going on here?
I don't know what I just happened. You getting a little echo or feedback?
I think so.
I think it's cleared up now. Go ahead.
I'm not hearing.
Is it on mute?
I don't think so.
Let
No.
me check it out.
No, I hear you guys fine. I'm not hearing the problem.
Oh, you can hear us fine, but not hearing any problems.
Oh, yes, it's good. It should work.
You see, it's like this. If we use our Truist Bank too often, the more we use it, like Truist Bank card to pay for stuff, the easier for hackers to hack in our bank and steal money from. And that's one way. The reason, if we rely on technology too much, we'll end up causing more trouble for ourselves. Like some people might impersonate someone, like someone hacking someone's social media account to gain information from you and pretending to be your friend to gain it, like to offer you something, but instead it's just a scammer. And we may not know it until you actually go to other social media accounts that they have and see it's been confirmed that he's been hacked.
And I know from personal experiences, like if you use your computer to access your banking account through the web, I know for a fact that some banks, and I won't mention any names, but it will not allow you to access your account if you use Internet Explorer or Google Chrome. Like this bank that I used to associate myself with, I could only access my account if I use Firefox. So is that like a really, really high-tech security feature?
That's one. That's exactly why. Because you see, other places you try to go through, it's not really secure. Like HTTP, HTTPS. One of them is secure. HTTPS is secure because it has the S in the ending.
Right, I know that, yeah. And also, I noticed a couple of banks, you cannot enter the bank and have your cell phone on because it somehow interrupts their computer system, particularly when Nextel was out. If you had a Nextel phone, they had posted on their front door, please do not enter the bank with your Nextel cell phone on. Turn it off.
That's that's one way of putting it. Yes.
I don't know why that was, but it somehow attacked their computer system. So you had to turn your Nextel phone off before you enter the bank.
That is, you see, I remember this sometimes happened a long time ago. I had a computer, but it kind of caused problems because my brothers has their phones on. They're playing phone on their phones or watching videos on their phones, so maybe cause interference stuff like that.
Yeah, it was causing some kind of interference. We have about 5 minutes to go before we go to first break. Let's go hear what Sergeant Darnell have to say on that end.
Well, gosh, let me ask you a question, Mohammed. 20 years ago, I was pretty sharp, and I swear I could memorize the telephone book if I had to, and had a week to do it. But anymore, it's hard to commit things to memory and keep everything straight like I used to could. Now I have so many passwords at work, so many passwords at home. I probably have 50 or 60 different things I log into on an everyday basis. It's hard to keep straight of everything. And I'm not going to write them all down or put them all in my phone where they can be compromised. What's the best way now to handle multiple passwords, login information, and everything without compromising yourself? They say don't use the same password for everything, which makes sense. So now what?
I'd say you could try to make it a little bit harder for you, like this. Make it not too obvious, and sometimes you make the letters into a number. Like take L for example. Take L for example. It could look like a number one, right?
Right.
And the E, it looks like a reflection of number three. If you think about it, you could try and make it like that. But if you're asking me like how you want to secure your password without like writing it down, or writing it on your phone, I'd say just remember what you just remembered. I'd say like this. You could try saving it, but if you do that, you could risk someone stealing your devices. So that puts you at a disadvantage. So that might be a lot more difficult.
Well, Sarge, I'll tell you what works for me, because I'm like you. I have so many username and passwords, so I have a tag that I put all this information on, and I have that secured in a phone. But like when I first signed up for a Gmail account, I couldn't use my own name because Glenn Johnson was already taken. So I took out all the vowels. It just made it GLNNJHN with 4 numbers and two characters, and that worked for me because there's a lot of things you can go to. You cannot put any of your first and last name in the password. It won't allow you to do it. So, like you said, but if you shorten it some kind of way, put 2 or 4 numbers with 2 or 4 characters, then it will accept it.
And every time every time I create a new password, I always take a picture of it, but then lock it from my phone so nobody else can get a look in it.
Oh, that's smart.
Like locked it from cameras. Nobody can see the files until I type in the password, what it is. It's like what's my phone password, If you can't see it, if you don't know it, you can't look into it.
And another thing I did, like particularly for my banking institution, when they ask you your security questions, what's your mother's maiden name? A lot of people don't know my mother's maiden name is her maiden name. So, and a lot of people, I switched up some of my stuff too. My grandson's first name, four numbers and two characters, and my granddaughter's first name, two numbers and two characters. Nobody knows that at all.
Makes sense.
I see started shaking his head about that one. Smart move, sorry.
So what?
You think that was a smart move?
Oh, sounds brilliant to me, as always, my friend.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know my mother's maiden name is actually the same, you know, it's just Johnson. But a lot of
Right.
people don't know that. And
They
if I
do
use
now.
it, yeah, they do now, yeah. If I use it in the middle name, nobody knows that at all. And I might even start using that because nobody knows my mother's middle name. Nobody
So
knows
many
my,
people, so many people are going on social media and see these questionnaires people are spreading around, and they ask the common questions like, "What's the first concert you went to? What was your first car? Trip down memory lane." But it's a
that's a good
trip
one.
to stealing your information as well.
Yeah, that's
So
a good one.
many times people are just giving their information out for free and letting the hackers have it.
That's a good one because a lot of banks do ask that question. What was your first car?
Yeah.
Mine actually wasn't a car; it was a truck. But a lot of people don't know that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but I got a call from a scammer asking me I have a fraud transaction fraud in my
Mohammad,
bank.
hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Awesome Radio, back in a moment. WECU.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, and the Awesome Radio Network. This is our 10-minute segment. After this 10-minute, we'll have our final 20-minute segment, and we're going to have explain a lot more to us during that 20 minutes. So prior to going out to the break, Mohammad was mentioning something. I'm going to go back over to Mohammad.
You see, I got two calls from scammers. I'll start with one of them. One of them called me about having transaction fraud, and he asked me about my social security number. I told him I'm not buying it. I actually searched his number, and I told him nice apartment. It's really a dump. I even told him the address. When he found out about it, he hung up when I told him about it. He should not really call me that number. He called me up from his own cell phone number, so he can't really say he's in a good shape. And also, I got a second call. It says I'm in second place and earning $2.5 million. So I just hung up and don't believe that. I told him if you want to try and scam someone, make it more believable than that. So I just hung up.
You want to know something that happened to me? This was a couple of years ago. As I left the radio station, I walked outside, got in my car, and I got an alert on my phone that a transaction was made with my debit credit card. I said, well, how in the world is that possible? I'm just leaving the radio station. I'm sitting in the car. I'm not at an ATM machine. I'm not at a store. You won't believe it was in California. I'm like, well, I'm certainly not in California. I'm here on Greenville Boulevard. Memorial Drive in Greenville, North Carolina. How could I be in California? I immediately called the bank, fraud department, and they investigated real soon and was able to get the money back into my account, also make an arrest. That was swift move because I couldn't believe that happened so fast. I'm here at the radio station in North Carolina. This transaction just occurred in California. I'm sitting out here in my car.
Have you used your debit card too often?
No,
Then that then that may what kind of debit card do you use?
my bill was my bank debit Visa card.
Hmm. I guess every bank has their own flaws now.
But here's the thing: how could it be used in California when I'm sitting here in the parking lot at the radio station in Greenville, North Carolina, and the card is in my pocket?
Some guys hackers have their ways, but they're not really skilled if they want to take that much. If they take very little, they probably wouldn't be getting any
Yeah.
notification.
Well, I see Sergeant Darnell shaking his head, so let's see what he has to say on that end.
Well, that's just it. If you try to charge $1,000 worth somewhere, it may raise an eyebrow. But you take 25 here, 25 there, and just a little bit at a time. Sometimes they'll scam you long term before you ever even realize it. Have to really stay on top of that and look at your expenses.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, no disrespect, but every time I always look at my Truist banking account daily because just in case, even though, like I said, you might not get notification if very little amounts taken from you. So that's why I had to keep it check just in case, like double check. Like how I always have to change my password every social media on social media, every 3 days or a week. It's a hassle, I know, but I had to keep it in because you see, I had to make sure that nobody else hacked into my account on Twitter or anything like that. Because if they know my password, if I change my password, it'll force the other devices to be forced to log out unless they figure out that new password.
Yeah, and also on that end, what a lot of companies don't realize is when you create an account with them and they want to do this automatic draft, and they don't know how many times I have caused problems with people. I have had so many occurrences with funds not coming out or being posted the day and time or date that they're supposed to be posted. Because if you, like for instance, one institution, if you use your routing number and checking account number, it might post 3 days after the date that it's supposed to post. Unlike if you use your debit credit card, it'll post the same day. So I just stopped using any kind of automatic draft that concerned my checking account and routing account number.
That's pretty smart. You see, I'm not gonna lie, but I connect my Twitter to my Google account just so I can get a two-step verification of whether or not if that's me or not, just in case, like double check.
Well, that's why I like the idea that I get an alert that my account was just used. So I know if it's me, like sometime I'll be at the store before I can walk out the door. After I just put my card in the reader, before I can walk out the door, bing, I got a notification that my card was just used. And the associate at the register was like, what was that? That's the transaction we just did.
I'm not gonna lie, but I had to set my credit card notifications on, so that way I know if someone used it or not. Because I'm not sure if debit card would work for notifications.
Yeah.
But credit card maybe, because there's a difference between. What's the difference between credit card and debit card?
A debit card is essentially like almost using cash, where credit card is what it is, credit portion.
But there's also one difference. For debit card, you have to enter the PIN number to know. But to credit card, that's a different story. So if someone lost it, they can easily, whoever took it, may be able to spend more money without you guys knowing about it.
Yeah, 'cause I noticed a lot of times you go into places, you can just swipe, or if it has that on there, just tap your card. It'll transaction with no PIN number.
That's why you see. That's why every time, if any of you guys have a family member who has short-term memory loss, make sure they don't go alone because because one time I found one of them. She nearly left without her credit card, and I had to run back to give it to her back. Otherwise, she would have lost it, and she did lost it twice in a row.
There's so many things going on, but in this country, the cash might become obsolete, and it might just be cards or some other kind of device. You won't even have a means to use cash anymore. That's how we head in the future. So everybody got to be extremely careful. Sergeant,
Yes, sir. How are we looking on time right now before we break again?
before we go to the break, 2.5 minutes.
Okay. Can I go back to the cold case you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, please.
I definitely want to get a shout out on this one. I don't know about you, but anybody who's ever lost a family member or friend to a violent crime, a murder, can relate to this, and you want justice, and it gnaws at your soul. I've been there. And in this case, a young man, 28 years old, Justin Rudd, was known as J Rock. J Rock was driving in Farmville when he was shot and was killed, caused him to wreck there in front of Doug Henry Chevrolet. And we just passed the 4-year anniversary with this case, and his killer or killers is or are still out there. And who will be next? It may be one of us, one of our family members. We need to find out who did this and bring them to justice. The family deserves that. So if anybody has any information, please reach out to Crime Stoppers.
And then we have 1 minute to go before we go to the next break. After we come from that break, we'll reach our 20-minute segment, and I'll have Sergeant Darnell speak more about that, because like he said, the sheriff's office needs your help, Crime Stoppers needs your help. This is a 40th anniversary of this case, and it needs to be solved. So if anybody out there has any information that they could offer, we will certainly appreciate it. Not only the sheriff's office, but Awesome Radio, and we will certainly appreciate it. And I'd like
Crime
to.
Stoppers will put money in your pocket.
That's right. You want to mention that again, Sarge?
Yes, sir. Crime Stoppers will pay handsome rewards for murders, for just about anything, to be honest with you, if someone's able to be arrested or located that's missing. And you can call this number right behind me here, 758-7777. Goes to a call center in Texas that keeps you anonymous. I don't know who you are, don't want to know who you are. And we'll send the information back through where you can go pick up your money.
And there's no such thing as snitches get stitches. If you know something, do something or say something to somebody. So keep it locked right here as we go to this next break. This is Awesome Radio, WECU Network, 107.5, 1570 AM. Back in a moment.
I recently had a conversation with a woman, and she was talking really positively about her husband. And I said to her, wow, I'm surprised to hear someone so positive about her marriage.
This is Real Family Life with Dave and Ann Wilson.
She said, I used to be super annoyed by my husband, but 10 years ago, he died in a plane crash. And what I wouldn't give to be annoyed by him right now.
Oh, man.
She said he always left this glass by the kitchen sink. She said it drove her crazy. And she said, if I could just one time see that glass, I would thank him for leaving it out if he was just with me. We just forget how blessed we are to be with a spouse. Yeah, they're annoying and we do annoying things.
But while we have them, take this moment to celebrate.
We're Ann and Dave Wilson, and that's Real Family Life.
Get more at familylife.com/real.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, and the Awesome Radio Network. We're going to continue our break. I was saying that there's no such thing as snitches get stitches. If you know something, say something or do something. As I tell everybody, and people know me, because I don't involve myself with any criminal activity. But if I did, and if you are a part of it, I always tell them, look, if they catch me, they caught us. Do I make myself clear? If they catch me, they caught us. I'm telling everything. I was like, Judge, I was trying to call you, but the line was busy. Let me stop messing around. I want Sarge to go back and give us more information on the unsolved murder of Justin Rudd. And like I said, you can avail yourself to the Facebook page of the Pitt County Sheriff's Office, and you'll see that video with Sergeant Darnell in his comments. Sarge.
Thanks, my friend. Yeah, it's just a sad case. It doesn't matter who's lost. It's always tragic. And he was still in his 20s, driving, and was gunned down. And I don't know the circumstances deep into the case. It's a Farmville Police Department case, so it's not one of mine. I haven't read the report. I'm just representing Crime Stoppers and trying to help them solve it. But it's sad, and what's really sad is it's gone on for 4 years now, and the killer's still out there. And who knows what they've done since then. If they'll kill one person, they'll certainly kill someone else, or certainly capable. And we need to get them off the street.
That's right. And I don't mean to cut Sarge off, but I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can help. Number one, to file a tip, you have 3 options. Call our out-of-state private tip line at 252-758-7777. Speak with the operator. Your information is anonymous and it will be kept confidential. Or go to www.crimestopper.org and fill out the tip form. And number 3, and lastly, download our phone app from our website, www.crimestopper.org. P3 tips. Then submit tips, photos, updates, etc. while on the go. So those are the 3 ways that you can help. Or contact the Sheriff's Office, Public Information Officer, Sergeant B. Darnell. Mohammad.
I do have a question. Sergeant Darnell, you said this happened like for 4 years now, right?
Right.
About this cold case murder? The guy's still out
Right.
there, right?
Correct.
If he's been gone this long, what are the chances that someone is helping him and covering the trails?
Well, at this point, after getting away with it for 4 years, he probably just thinks he's gotten away with it and will never be caught. Most murders, you're able to make the arrest pretty quickly. Usually in the first couple of days, we can lock people up. And the longer it goes, the harder it gets. And the longer it goes, the more comfort level the killer will have. You know, the first couple of days, I'd be scared that the police would show up and take me in. But after 4 years, whoever did that, they're out there living their best life and partying and not thinking back, not worrying about it, because they don't think they're going to get caught. But what they don't count on is that we're going to keep working it every day for the rest of our lives.
That's right.
That's right. Take our place, we'll keep on every day for the rest of their lives until we solve it and that person gets brought in.
I wonder what he hopes to gain for all this.
That's a good question. That's a fine question.
But you know what I say about that? People like that with this thing that's been going on for 4 years, back in his mind, he's probably thinking, you know, I might do somebody wrong one day, and they might say, well, look, you told me you did this, did that. I'm going to contact who I need to contact about it because you just made that person mad. Now they're going to come forward. So it might take another 2 years, but who knows? He's going to do something to make somebody angry, and they're going to tell just to get back at him.
True.
That's a fact. I don't know who our callers are that call in and leave tips, but it's obvious some of them are well involved in the criminal industry and that they know a whole lot about the drug sales. Will sometimes even say, you know, I've been there a few times and bought myself, and that's okay. The person that stepped up may actually have been involved in this murder or the next murder we investigate. And like you said, either A, I don't like that person anymore, I'm going to rat them out. Or B, I just need some quick money. And you can make a few $1,000s pretty easy on a murder case. I've paid out about $4,000 so far in 2024, and more tips at this point this year than we had in the last few. So I suspect we're going to pay a lot more money before the end of the year. If somebody knows something, they can step up and get their share.
That's right. If you notice something, know something, say something. And I noticed Sergeant Darnell has under his name, because, we are virtual. Sergeant Darnell has under his name Pitt County Sheriff's Office and IndyCrimeStoppers.org. But if anybody like to avail themselves to any of the information that we have, where you can help out, please email me at Glenn, Glenn Johnson Show @gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to forward it to you so you can make contact and help get this case resolved. Mohammad, you have anything further?
If you guys have any questions about for IT stuff, contact me from Innab Mohammad 302 @gmail.com.
Thank you, sir. We have 13 minutes to go before we end the broadcast. So I know Sergeant Darnell probably has some more information for us, listening audience. So let's go back to Sergeant Darnell.
Wow, thank you. We stay very active, or at least try to stay very active in the community, get out there and talk to the citizens, hear what they have to say. Even though, granted, sometimes we don't like what we hear, we need to hear it. If we're not doing what we should, we need to hear it. If you have concerns or suggestions, we need to hear it. So we've been going out there and doing a lot of coffee with a cop events. We'll rotate from one coffee shop to the next. And bless you. And had a lot of good results with that. I don't have the date for the next one yet, but I know it won't be long. It'll be coming up. So keep an eye out on our social media for these kind of events, and come out and get to know us, and speak your mind, good, bad, or indifferent. We need to hear these things. We're staying busy with other things, like yesterday, the summer camp started. Sheriff Dance offers this every year for our youth to give them something to do every day for 5 weeks. Our school resource officers who are no longer in school, now they become counselors and are running the summer camp. They're going to some great field trips. Like this week, they're going to Natural Creamery over to the farm. That's always so much fun. Next week, they're going to Sylvan Bird Park. I think they're going to Wilmington a time or two this time. It's just always something to keep the kids engaged. A lot of physical activity, a lot of learning opportunities, and time to bond more with school resource officers and build that good mentor relationship, try to help them out. We posted recently a few coloring sheets on our social media at the Sheriff's Office, one for the Sheriff's Office in general, and one for Deputy Drifter, our therapy K9 Golden Retriever. So if you want to find something quick and easy and cheap to keep your kids occupied, go and download the sheets off our website. They're PDF. You can print them at home for free and let your kids sit and color for their sheriff's office. If you haven't met Deputy Drifter, he's amazing. Find one of our events on social media where he's going to be. Come out and get to know him, see his tricks, just see how lovable and sweet he is. Amazing resource. Deputy Drifter goes out to the schools, goes out to local nursing homes, works a lot with autism in the area, goes to a lot of events, and just really available for officers after bad events, for crime victims, for people who have to testify in court, help them overcome the anxiety of reliving the events over and over and testifying. So he's really made a huge difference, and very proud of Deputy Drifter and the sheriff for coming up with a pretty remarkable idea.
Yeah, I noticed that he's not only a K9 dog, but he's also therapeutic.
Very much. Yeah, he's not trained to sniff drugs. He's not trained to sniff a trail on a missing person. His entire focus is emotional health. and being there and lovable and helping you. And he can pick up on things that not every person can. He can sense problems and come to you and just offer his love and support. And it's amazing what that can do sometimes. It always makes me when he comes in my office to visit, and I have to take a break and de-stress, and after that, man, I'm wide open into the next project.
And I know from seeing him out in the field, his interaction and the children that interacted with him, they absolutely adore the canine dog Drifter. They absolutely adore him.
Absolutely. If you have an event and you'd like to try to get Drifter to come out and meet a crowd, have his handler speak, certainly give us a call. You can find him on his Facebook page, has his own page, Deputy Drifter on Facebook. He's popular. And or come to the sheriff's office page and reach out to us. And same thing if you would like a deputy to come out. We're more than happy to come out and speak to groups about whatever topics are important to you.
And on that end, like you said, with the deputy Drifter, and as well as the drift deputy, so the canine dog Drifter, canine Drifter, is an active member of the law enforcement community with the sheriff's office. Is that correct?
That's right. And we have, of course, other canines. Your typical patrol canines that do sniff out drugs and chase people and will take a bite out of crime when necessary. Whether they're German Shepherds or Malinois or what have you, amazing, beautiful creatures. So smart and work so hard and protect us and make a big difference in our efforts out there. We also have one that people don't think of a lot of times. Her name's Freya, and she's a canine at the Pitt County Detention Center, assigned to a detention officer, and every day she is at the detention center, sniffing out drugs and doing her thing over there. She's not a therapy dog. She's a very hardworking patrol canine there at the jail, trying to keep it safe. And but Drifter will show up at the jail occasionally to offer some support to the staff and to some of the inmates over there.
I know having that canine dog in the detention center is a godsend. Mohammad, you have anything to offer?
Actually, I do not.
Yeah, so I was trying to think of the next question for you, Sarge. So since that dog is in the detention center, what's the average amount of drugs that they seized in the detention center because of the dog?
Well, the good thing is we haven't had to seize much. We have so many resources in place trying to keep it safe. Not just the dog, but the actual physical searches we do. And everybody that comes in, they get strip searched. We find a lot of stuff on strip searches.
Right.
And we have a body scanner. It's a shame that you have to have so many layers, but you do in order to keep it safe. And each one of those layers will uncover, peel back some of the problem and bring it out piece by piece. But we've been very blessed inside as far as keeping the outside influences from getting in. Absolutely. And as people could see on 60 Days In, when you're handing out medication inside, that's where some of the problems can occur, when they're cheeking it or hiding it otherwise and then trying to distribute their medication throughout the facility. But since the show, they have put in all new systems to help curtail that. So I think it's the safest it's ever been by far.
Yeah, and Sergeant Darnell mentioned this 60 Days In. I have seen quite a few of those videos on YouTube. So if you can go to YouTube, type in Pitt County Sheriff's Office 60 Minutes In, you'll see some of those videos and get a better understanding of what the Sheriff's Office is doing there. So please avail yourself to there. We have 4 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. I'm going to give those 4 minutes to Sergeant Lee Darnell.
Well, I think I've mentioned it the last couple of shows, but do not keep your guns in your cars, please. Lock your cars. Keep them locked 24/7. At home, at work, it doesn't matter, please. We've had a couple of guns taken in the last few days from unlocked cars, and it just keeps going on. The criminals, trust me, they have enough guns. They don't need yours. And sadly, if they do get it, they may use it on you or me. And please keep your cars locked. You've got to do it. A criminal will come along, try the door handle. If it's locked, he's going to move on. He wants quick, easy money. And if it's unlocked, boom, he's going to go in there and see what he can find.
Yeah, they're going to go in there and ramble around to see what they can find. Anything of valuable to a criminal, thinking that they can sell it. So just keep that in mind. To somebody else, anything that you have might be of more importance to them than of you.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. So let me see. As I said earlier, if you have any questions or concerns or if you need any documents that we might have today, please don't hesitate to email me at Glenn, Glenn Johnson Show at gmail.com. For any cyber security concerns, you can also email Mohammad Innab. Mohammad.
Yes, sir. My email is innabmohammed302 at gmail.com, all lowercase.
And I'm easy to reach. You can find me at any of our social media pages or on our website. If you send it in, it comes to me.
Or you can look in for me on my LinkedIn page.
Yeah. I was going to say something earlier, I forgot to say what it was. So let me take these 2 minutes to say what I was going to say. When we first came onto the broadcast, Sergeant Darnell was always on duty, doing a tremendous job. And all I was hearing as we were getting ready to go live was his radio in the background. And I haven't heard the radio on since we've been live. So, Sarge, I don't know if you turned it down or turned it off. I know you can't turn it off. So you probably just turned it down.
I did. Didn't want to disturb.
Yeah, I thought so. So I just want to mention that I know it was on before we went live, but when you hit the live button, I figured you might have turned it down. That's a good thing. So thank you very much. One last thought from everybody. We have 1 minute.
My last thought, I'll say, take a look around. This may be the last time you see this office. The county blessed us with a new law enforcement center for the sheriff's office, and we're going to move sometime in July. So hopefully the next show will be coming from my new office at the over there. If not next month, it'll definitely be the next one because we're moving in July.
I did not know that. So the sheriff's office will no longer be located inside the courthouse, correct?
That's correct. We'll keep a number of deputies here for security, though.
Right, exactly. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have 30 seconds before we end the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you have any information on helping to solve a crime with the Pitt County Sheriff's Office, please reach out to Sergeant Darnell. Email me for further information. I'm readily available to forward those emails to you. Mohammad, 20 seconds.
I'm all good.
All right, thank you, Mohammad. Thank you, Sergeant Darnell. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. God bless you all. May the Lord take a liking to you and continue to bless you. Thank you for tuning in today. Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM. So long, everybody.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM.
Good show, Glenn. Thank you.
Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
Thank you.
Did you know there are times when it's wise to use a credit card?